morning. Today is Thursday, April 9th, 2020. We are going to start off today on slide 15. So to go ahead and take a moment, open up your PowerPoint if you haven't already done so. We're going to finish up the chapter today on healthy so that you can hopefully finish up writing your paragraph. I hope you've been kind of working on it throughout the week. Hopefully you've reached out to me with some questions, with some wording advice, needing some wording advice, anything like that, guys. Please remember that I'm here to help you. Okay, I really want to be there the way I would be in class. Okay, so don't feel like you're bothering me. I know Emma doesn't like to bother her online teachers, but I mean, that's why I'm here. Okay, just don't text me past like 9 p.m. because I'm usually doing bedtime routine with my kids. Okay, so on slide 15, this is partnering with families. Collaborate with families to ensure that their children receive similar, consistent health messages in your setting and at home. For example, if parents model and encourage proper hand washing at home, then children will see the value of taking personal responsibility for this habit. They'll understand, once I go to the bathroom, I have to wash my hands. Once I'm outside playing, when I come back in, I have to wash my hands. Nowadays, we touch anything, we wash our hands. It's vital, therefore, that you and the children's parents agree on an approach to keeping their children healthy. Oh, my dog is barking. Probably not, because nobody's going anywhere. I wanted to share with you some things that you could provide in your parent handbook, policies and such, for your children's families. So the handbook might address the following: expectations for health visits and immunizations, daily health checks, sick child policy, meaning when children are sent home and when they can return. So like with us, with any child care center and school, you have to be fever-free for 24 hours without being medicated before you can come back to school. So at 8:30 today, I have a fever. 8:30 a.m. I have a fever. School has barely even started yet, but at 9 o'clock my fever goes away and I don't have it anymore for the rest of the day. I still cannot return until 9 o'clock that following day. It has to be a full 24 hours. Incident reports, caring for children who are chronically ill, medication policy, food and nutrition practices, and hand washing when it is required during the day. Personal hygiene practices, child abuse reporting policies, and maintenance of health records and safeguards for privacy. Some families may need help locating appropriate health resources, such as community health clinic or pediatrician who speaks their home language. Check to see if the program has this information available for parents. If not, consult the health staff in your setting or ask your supervisor for assistance in finding appropriate referrals if you work in a center. For each child, keep names and phone numbers on file for the following people and places: medical providers, including specialists, dentists, the preferred hospital to go to in an emergency, and family members that are authorized to pick up each child in the order staff should contact them in an emergency. Now, when we have parents apply for their children to attend Wolf Pups, I have all of that information on the back of my registration form. I have the registration form on the front, and on the back I have the emergency form. It has all of that information laid out, so the parents give it to me all at once. Okay. Moving on to the next slide, identifying and reporting child maltreatment. This is probably one of the hardest parts of working with kids, is knowing that you are probably going to one day come across kids that are being maltreated in some way, or being abused, or being neglected. And it is your responsibility as a mandatory reporter to call DCF and to inform DCF of what is happening and what you've observed. Identifying and reporting child abuse is never easy, but your actions can save a child's life, and that's what's most important to remember. No matter how hard it might be to make that call, you could be saving a child's life. Prepare for this challenge by doing the following: learn the signs of abuse and neglect and be alert to them. Make sure children feel comfortable talking to adults and expressing their feelings in your setting. Share with children's families the program's clear policies on responding to the signs of child abuse and neglect. Know how to report any suspicion in accordance with your settings, policies, and applicable laws. And be applicable. And be an advocate for children, always. Okay? All right, so lastly, I was going to go over, yeah, she's leaving, the definitions, making sure you guys know what the difference between abuse and neglect is. I know we went over all of this in ECE1, but that's been a couple of years. So physical abuse includes any non-accidental physical injuries, including burning, beating, biting, kicking, hitting, or punching a child. Children under the age of 5 are at the greatest risk of injury or death from physical abuse. Sexual abuse includes any sexual behavior with a child. It also includes commercial exploitation of a child through pornographic photos and videos. Psychological maltreatment, sometimes called emotional abuse, involves belittling, rejecting, isolating, and terrorizing children. It also includes passive-aggressive behaviors toward a child in which the adult expresses his or her anger at the child intently. Neglect involves omission of care that results in harm to the child. And there are 7 different types of neglect. There's physical, medical, inadequate supervision, environmental neglect, emotional neglect, educational neglect, and newborn's addiction exposure to drugs. Okay. There's no clear profile of perpetrators of abuse and neglect. They might be known to the child or strangers, family members, or unrelated to the child. Okay. I want y'all to remember from ECE1, there is no neglect, no abuse, neglect, no bias, no prejudice. Children of all different runs of life, poor, wealthy, good community, bad community, all types of children are abused and neglected. And so no matter where you're working, it's important to keep your eyes open. Okay. Also remember that the child's immediate family may not be aware of any maltreatment. Say the child goes somewhere else after they leave your house, they're being maltreated somewhere else, or a family friend is doing something. Okay, you just never know. So you want to make sure you're keeping your eyes open, keeping your ears open, and making sure that children feel comfortable in talking to you. Okay, we are going to stop there now. It is that is the end of the healthy chapter from Essentials Working for Young Children. This is where I'm getting all my information for you guys. So this is coming directly from CDA. One thing I wanted to remind you all of when you are writing your paragraphs, I realize I'm giving you all the same information, but it is best for you to try and find a way to make your paper stand out from the rest. Okay, when I was reading the paragraphs on safety over the weekend, most of them sounded the same. Most of them sounded identical. There were only 2 or 3 that really jumped out at me, and I could see that the student who wrote it was really trying to pull their own personal experiences and really made their paper stand out and be independent from everybody else's. So just something to think about. You know, when Teresa comes in and does your CDA observations, she sits down and she reads these, and sometimes she offers people jobs. And so I've noticed from my own experience with her that she tends to offer the jobs to those people that stand out to her, whether it's in the classroom or through their portfolio. She's always impressed with the writing of my students. I think you guys are doing fine with your writing. Just make sure if you need to go back and review the video from Monday, if you didn't take notes, you might want to do that. If you have any questions, if you need help with your wording, remember I said to try and make it as professional as possible. Okay, I realize that you may have never written for a professional purpose before, but you are doing that now. Okay, so make your paper as professional sounding as possible. If you need help with that, forward me what you have or forward me a sentence. You know, don't go crazy with a thesaurus, because it's always obvious when somebody goes crazy with a thesaurus, and you know, you can tell that certain words aren't exactly what you meant, but you're like, ooh, that sounds really good. Okay, reach out to me if you need me, and I will see you tomorrow in the next video. All right, have a great day. Bye, guys.